Alright guys, my name is Metagoblin, and today we're going to be discussing why and how did Alterac Valley just become so horrendously bad in Classic WoW. This may surprise you, but this isn't going to be some really long rant criticising Blizzard over and over, because I honestly don't think that it is all Blizzard's fault that we're in the situation that we're in now. The situation is obviously pretty bad. The queues are up until about 2 hours for the Horde side, and the win rate is about 1% for the Alliance. So first of all, let's answer that question. Why are the Horde so much better at winning Alterac Valley than the Alliance? Very simple answer to that question is Horde have they just have a better strategic position when it comes to the spawn location of when they enter the battleground, and also their graveyards are closer together. This means Horde have the advantage at the beginning of the battleground to get to the graveyard as fast as humanly possible. They can get to an Alliance graveyard before the entire Alliance raid is even there. And say for instance if Alliance actually manage to capture a Horde graveyard, they can easily recover from that situation because the graveyards are way closer together. If you look at how the Battleground was totally redesigned in TBC, you will notice that the spawn location for the Horde side is way further back, so it takes longer for them to, each faction to meet in the middle. This is the main reason why Horde are always winning Alterac Valley. You also got to think about how Horde have better racials in vanilla, and anyone who was very serious about PvP was probably more likely to go and play Horde. As a matter of fact, the majority of people playing Classic WoW are playing Horde. It is a massively dominated faction as it is in the PvP community and in the community in general. A lot more people are playing Horde. That's why the queues are bigger for Horde, and it's why, they're just winning more. And the fact that Classic WoW obviously is on multiple different realms and the battlegrounds are cross-realm, it massively magnifies and augmentates the situation. Because back when I played on the Star Race, there's obviously only one server. Well, there's actually 2 servers, but it wasn't cross-server when it came to the battlegrounds, and the situation was nowhere near as bad. Horde used to win more, but the Alliance would, still hold their ground pretty decently. So the increased population of Classic WoW compared to a, smaller private server is another big reason why it's become so bad. So in a way it is Blizzard's fault for designing Alterac Valley in this way, but then it's kind of our fault because we absolutely demanded that there be no changes when Classic WoW was released. And it ultimately just proves that vanilla definitely had its issues. However, you've also got to think about how the situation would be different if they release the pre-nerfed version of Alterac Valley, because in my opinion I think it would have given the Alliance a better chance, because in pre-Alterac Valley you can't cheese your way around the battleground. You are restricted to only going on roads because you will blow up by stepping on a landmine or get killed by some kind of boss. You can't just go up to a bunker or a graveyard at the beginning of a battleground and capture it very quickly in pre-nerfed Alterac Valley, because you actually have to take the time to defeat the boss. So what you have to do is push the enemy raid away to give there a little bit of a chance for a little side group to go and deal with the boss. So if that was the situation, Alliance could intentionally tank a little bit at the beginning of the battleground and start pushing the Horde back, rather than the situation that we have now, which is basically a load of... The Alliance are basically like a load of headless chickens. Some go straight to Galv, some go to the Field of Strife, and then some go to their own graveyard. It's an absolute mess. But if those landmines were in place, everyone would only be able to go to one location, which meant the raid would stay together, which meant it would be a better raid-on-raid PvP fight, and it would definitely give the Alliance a better chance to push the Horde back and actually get an enjoyable experience out of the battleground. Back when I played Alterac Valley on the Star Race, which is one of the things I actually did the most back in the day when I played on that server, I played Horde, and we did actually lose a few times because the Alliance were actually really good at pushing us back from the Field of Strife back to our graveyard, and then eventually, to our towers. I can remember staying in the Field of Strife for like hours and hours, at least up until Korak would spawn, which is a boss that spawns if Alterac Valley has been active for longer than 2 hours, and everyone would battle to try and take that boss, because that boss is required for a quest which will give you pre-raid best in slot loot. So that was always fun. And at the end of the day, pre-nerfed Altarek Valley, it wasn't really that much about winning. The more important thing about that battleground was actually enjoying the raid-on-raid PvP, getting some honour and rep along the way, and just really enjoying the battleground for what it was and what it was intended to be. It was intended to be an extremely long, realistic medieval battle, or at least trying to be a little bit authentic to what a medieval battle would be like. An actual real-world siege from history would take even more than hours. Like, sieges from history would take months and months, and obviously you don't want a battleground for the last months and months. But my point is that it was meant to be a long, arduous, raid-on-raid battleground. And if Blizzard had released it like that, I think the situation would still be pretty bad as it is now. I think Horde would still get really long queues, and they would probably win a lot more often, but it definitely wouldn't be as astronomically bad as it is now. Anyway guys, that's where I'm going to end the video there. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. My name is Medagoblin. To my next video, ciao.